you?
Hi, good. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. So, what got you into the story? Can you tell me more about your character? I don't know a lot.
Sure, yeah. Okay, the movie. The movie's The Tower. I play Billy Owens. He's from Arkansas, and he's kind of a little bit of an outcast, sort of a goth kind of leaning kid. And yeah, he's a bit distraught, and he meets this mermaid, and he's never seen a mermaid before. So he, yeah.
You said he was in the gospel. Is that
That's right.
something that you feel from your personal life a little bit, or is it someone that's completely different?
Well, it's interesting you said that. I love like music and subcultural kind of things, and so I really related to Billy in that way. He reminded me of me in high school, and yeah. Thank you so much.
Appreciate that.
So Cam, I feel like you're more of an action guy. What draw you to this movie?
Exactly that. Because I got to do something other than what I normally do, and he gave me that opportunity, and I was like, can't pass up an opportunity like that.
So can you tell us a little bit about your character?
Well, he's a cop who has a lot of maybe personal secrets that he covers with bravado, but I mean, at the end of the day, I think he wants to have power over people. That's his fetish, so to speak. Yeah.
What an interesting word choice.
Right? I know. It's very yeah, but it's right. I mean, he kind of saw power as a fetish for him.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting part of the movie.
Right, yeah. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
No, thank you.
Let me get a quick... Hi.
Hi, how are you?
Good, how are you? I'm well.
Oh, all right, I get to hold it this time.
Yes. Sweet. I'm not going to be on camera.
Okay, fair enough.
Focus on you. How are you doing today?
I'm good, how are you?
So, I'm very interested. I read in an article, you made a quote saying that you drew from, like, isolation.
Yeah.
Growing up in a small town. Can you elaborate a little bit on that?
Yeah, I'm really fascinated with the sort of like sense of feeling trapped in a small town in America. I have lived in LA for a long time, came from a smaller town, and it's just so fascinating to me, all of the lives and dramas that are, and how much closer people are interweaved, and how much more in each other's business people are in the small town. And that was kind of what inspired this story, mostly about being a young man who wants to leave but doesn't really have the desire, the means, or anything like that. And then he discovers a mermaid living in the water tower, and that is kind of the impetus for him to get out. So yeah.
And so, what does the world look like around her? Like, is she the only mermaid, or are there supernatural things?
No, it's that, and it's very dark, and it's honestly funny the way that we sort of shot this and put this movie together. The stuff inside the water tower with this mermaid is fantasy, it is, but everything outside is just very dark, shot handheld, a lot of natural light, like a lot of sort of like, I wanted it to feel like a Larry Clark or like Harmony Korine type film outside, where a lot of it just feels very gritty, like a sort of I guess indicating the small town life and that sort of the gritty part. But then inside with Bella and the mermaid stuff is much more stylized. So, yeah.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Can I get a picture for our podcast?
Yeah.
Okay, first of all, Whitney. Oh, thank you. We're living. Thank you.
But are you just handling the movie and
Yeah, there's a lot of different hats. So I'm a producer on the film, but my sort of main lean is always the marketing and publicity side of things, which is something that's quite often overlooked with independent films. I think there's some incredibly good filmmakers out there in the independent sector who kind of, I'm making a film, I've fought to get it financed, and then it gets maybe sold and handed over to a small distributor, and you never see it again. So my sort of goal is at least to, right from the ground floor, get involved to try and work out how to make it stand out just that little bit higher. I mean, this is a small budget movie. It's a small budget film. But here we are at Comic-Con. We have a panel. We did this a couple of years ago as well. We did it 2 years ago with Nandor, Fodor and the Talking Mongoose, which was Simon Pegg, Minnie Driver and Christopher Lloyd. We had a panel for 4,000 people for a small independent movie. Now, yeah, the cast is incredible, but it's a small independent movie that in many cases you will see a distributor just send it out to the world without any fanfare. So we always try and budget right at the very beginning how are we going to talk about this? So we've made a film, but how are people going to know about this film? And not rely on the studios to do it for us wherever it goes, wherever it's home it is in the end.
I did notice that this was getting a lot more fanfare than the normal, typical independent film, so that makes sense. What brought you to this particular film?
Well, I've worked with Adam, the director, before. We did Nandor together, and we've got another project coming out next year called Cinemax. So, you know, Adam is always like, you need to come on board with this. And obviously I read the script, I'm like, this is great. You know, I haven't seen anything quite like it. It's just a bit weird. And again, you think of a mermaid picture and you think of Little Mermaid and cute stuff. It's not what this is. It's not what this is at all. So I was like, okay, that's interesting. I haven't really seen that. And yeah, the cast was fantastic. You know, Jack and Cam are brilliant as well. And Bella's just an absolutely amazing mermaid. And it just all fitted. It's just, this is different. It's different. You know, I can see how this is going to work. So yeah, absolutely happy to get on board in this one.
One more question. Last year I read that you guys had done an interim agreement during the strike. How did that impact such a small production?
Yeah, that was a challenge because it was happening literally as we were starting. And we did have a moment when the strike was called, if I remember, it was starting at midnight. And it was midnight on a Thursday or Friday. I can't remember because all the days when you shoot, your days are all over the place. And so we had to stop for 2 days. It was over a weekend because SAG was closed at the weekend. And we had to get the agreement through. Now the problem with an independent movie, we ticked all the boxes to qualify, no question. If that delay in getting the approval had been more than maybe another 2 more days, it would have shut the whole thing down. Because you'd have had to let your crew go. You can't afford to pay your crew not to be working on a budget that small. So it was a white knuckle ride for a weekend. It really was. It's like, well, okay guys, you know, I mean, of course the agent's pulling the actors off set, we've got to go. So yeah, we had, I think, about 30 hours, we were like, are we going to get that? Then it came through. In fact, like, okay, we got it. Everyone back on Monday.
Nice.
But yeah, that was a little scary.
I was going to say, yeah.
Because I think we were 5 days in, 4 or 5 days in, and it wasn't a huge shoot. It was 3.5 weeks, but it's just like, yeah, that was a bit panic-stricken.
Thank you so much for your time.
You're more than welcome. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you for waiting.